Hey everybody, it's Tyson Strachan here on Monday, August the 7th. I want to firstly kind of take a minute to expand a little bit on last week's announcements of our brand new website, hockeywealth.com, and these new resources that we've put out. Um, if you go to hockeywealth.com, click on the resources tab, you will find webinars and our podcast webinars. We're focusing on topics that we, as former professional hockey players, know are very important topics to understand as a hockey player, and often are misunderstood or not understood at all topics. And we're trying to keep those webinars short and just filled with nice educational content that's easy to take in. Below that, Hockey Family Podcast is an extension of this, where we're just constantly trying to find ways of putting out great educational content. Right now, like I mentioned last week, we came out with the first 3 podcasts. Those guests are David Backus, Carl Alsner, and Ryan Carter. Obviously, a ton of NHL experience there. And our podcast is not meant to be in any way competing with the Spit and Chicklets of the world, right? Our podcast is all about education, and it just focuses on 3 questions we're looking for and asking these guys for the best advice that they have received in their hockey, in terms of their hockey careers, their finances, and then just life in general. And we think that that's a great format for younger and current hockey players to be able to listen to these guys that have experience playing the game and living that life, and to be able to take away some of the lessons that they've learned is just going to be invaluable, I think, for guys. So I hope that you check that out. Obviously, Hockey Family Podcast, you can find it anywhere that podcasts are available. Last week, the two kind of big news stories were we saw the jobs report come out, and then we also saw Fitch Ratings downgrade the U.S. debt from AAA to AA plus. First off, the jobs report came in 187,000 jobs versus the 200,000 that was expected, and also had revisions to 2 prior months, which was about 50,000 jobs less than they had originally concluded on. Looking at this, wage growth is shown by average hourly earnings stayed solid, and this kind of shows that the slowdown in hiring is just a reflection of a tight job supply. So for takeaway from that, after that report came out, we saw 2 Fed officials come out and speak, indicating that the Fed should be shifting their focus from raising rates to the idea of how long do we need to keep rates at this level. We would kind of expect rates to stay where they are for at least the next few months. But I think that report and what we're seeing from the Fed, obviously showing that they feel that this rate hiking, is starting to show, pay dividends. And it's a good sign that we are hopefully turning the corner and looking at rates coming down, and obviously keeping that inflation number low. As far as the debt downgrade, very interesting story there. If you go out to the media outlets from one side or the other, you're going to hear 2 completely different stories. Obviously, we know that going to the news outlets right now, it becomes politicized, right? So there's 2 different stories out there. I'm going to just stay away from them, because all we want to do is focus on the actual statistics, actionable items. An interesting fact: the GDP to debt ratio, which is the measure of solvency, is currently at 120%. If you look back to 2008 and prior, 35 to 65% was kind of where it fluctuated between. Then COVID hit and we saw it jump up to 100%, now 120%. So since COVID, it has been over that 100% level, which obviously shows that there is credibility to why we saw this downgrade. But again, we saw no market, reaction from the market. We kind of believe that the markets, in a way, have lost faith in these credit rating agencies, and just took this news in stride as if it was a non-topic. So we just saw the market stay steady and continue on as if this didn't happen. And I think that is the important kind of takeaway from this, to not go out, listen to the news stories of the left and the right, where they're trying to make this a political issue. And that's what we do. So anyways, long video, but I hope that everybody does take the time to go to the hockeywealth.com, check out these new resources. You got some time in the car, throw the Hockey Family podcast on. That's going to be continuing to come out with fantastic guests that have a ton of experience and some great conversations. So hope everybody enjoys that, has a great week. We'll talk to you soon.